Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, 5 Tips for Leading ISAs Well with MAPS Coach Anna Krueger. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's FASTTRACK@kw.com. That's all for me, Anna. Take it away.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to today's webinar. Today we're going to talk about 5 tips to lead inside sales agents really well. While I'm defining an inside sales agent for us and then jumping into our 5 topics, if you would put in the questions box where you're from and what your role is and why you're interested in this topic, that would be really helpful for me to know as your instructor today. And really my goal is to go through the 5 things, let you know where we have some other opportunities for you to learn more. And then really if we have any questions and time at the end, we'll hit those as well. So go ahead and put in the questions box where you're from, what your role is and what piqued your interest, and we'll go ahead and jump in. So a lot of people say, wait, what is an ISA? What exactly is that? So ISA technically means inside sales agent, ISA, inside sales agent. And really, it's the role on the team that is 75% of their working hours are spent lead generating, lead converting. Now, that could mean that they're doing door knocking. It could be that they're doing phone calls. It could be a mixture of a lot of things. But really, this person's one thing is lead gen, lead conversion. Yeah, and I see people typing in. It looks like some of you are in that position, which is awesome. Lead ISA, executive assistant. Awesome. So we have a range of people here. So this class is really for how do you lead an inside sales agent well. Now, I've been doing this since 2006. I've been in inside sales for a long time. And I've led ISAs, I've trained ISAs, I've been an ISA, and now I coach ISAs. And I have seen what works, what doesn't work. So today I'm going to give you my top 5. And then we do have a class starting April 8th that will go, it's 5 weeks long, an hour a week. So you get 5 hours on this. Of really, how do you hire an ISA? How do you lead them well? What exactly does that look like? So get your notes ready. I'm going to go ahead and jump in with the first thing. So the first thing is actually something I appreciated as a new inside sales agent, and that was having easy wins, easy wins. So if you would put in the box, the questions box there, how would you give an ISA an easy win? Let's discuss that for a second. And obviously in our setting here, I can't see you. So we're just going to leverage that questions box. How would you incentivize or give some easy wins to an ISA right out of the bat? And I'll just tell you what my leader did for me, and I so appreciate it, is he actually gave me some sphere leads when I was brand new. Now, why would he do that, right? I hadn't earned them. They were 100% his leads. Because he gave them to me to set, now he's paying me for those, right? So why would he do that? Well, the way I look at it is, and actually Dan said it, warm leads, things like that. Success breeds success, right? So if you are given an easy win when you're new, that helps encourage your spirit for when you're calling some of those more challenging leads. We also know it takes about 90 days to build your pipeline. So if you're in the process of building that pipeline and you're a results-oriented person, now you have to have grit, right? But it can also just be really encouraging to your spirit for someone to hand you a lead that's pretty much ready to go because you are doing all this work and not seeing a lot for it. So that's one way that I would recommend that you lead your ISA well, is think through what are some easy leads that we could give them that are really almost a home run that we could let them work in their first month or 2. That's going to build their confidence. And yes, you're going to pay them for setting these leads that you basically handed to them that were already warmed up. But trust me, the payoff of that will be long-term, because it's going to build their confidence and give them energy to get back and do some of those harder calls. Absolutely. Yeah, and a lot of you, this actually is not on the list, although it kind of folds into number 2, but a lot of you typed in and said give them scripts. So I'm going to kind of fold that into point number 2. So point number 1, give them some easy wins right out of the gate. Point number 2 is give them scripts. And I would actually say the way I put this down in my notes is teach them how to dig for motivation. Now, let me ask you guys, how would you define client motivation? I've heard all kinds of definitions. It's their timeline, it's their reason for moving, So I just want to hear from you. How would you define motivation? Just to make sure we're all on the same page. Yeah, so motivation is really the reason a client wants to move. Now, why would that matter, right? Why would that be the second thing on my list for how to lead an ISA really well? Well, what we know is there's a lot to learn about real estate, right? But one, if you give them some easy leads, and then two, teach them how to dig client motivation, that's going to help them, first of all, build great rapport with clients, which will help build trust. Remember, clients will do business with people that they trust. The other thing that's going to do is help your ISA, even though they don't know all the technical things of real estate yet, what ultimately matters is to find motivated people. So if I have been taught how to ask good open-ended questions, things like, hey, what makes you want to move? Why is that important to you? How will that impact your family? You know, moving is so much hard work. Tell me what this will do for you in the long run. Those things are ultimately going to help get this person interested and engaged and hopefully move the ball forward in order to have them work with us. So the second thing I would say is teach them how to ask about client motivation. Now, maybe you're sitting here and thinking, I don't really know how to do that. So first of all, we do teach that in the class, Mastering Inside Sales, but I'll go ahead and give you a little sneak peek here. So the first thing you want to do, and just jot this down, if you talk to humans ever, you will use this. So the first thing you want to do is ask an open-ended question. Something like, what makes moving important to you? Or how will moving impact you? But something that's more open-ended that you can really use to get that conversation started. That would be step one. Then your second step to dig out motivation is to use the words that they answered you with in your next question. So for example, if they said, I want to downsize, you're going to want to teach yourself and also your ISA to say something like, what will downsizing do for you? So it's another open-ended question, but you're using their words. Now, if they said downsizing would save us money, go ahead and put in the questions box, what could you ask off of an answer that is, downsizing would save us money? Give me a good question that would use that phrase, yet dig further. So you're going to use their words in your very next question. So the phrase would be saving money. So you want a question that has the words saving money in there. And there's always a little delay, so I'm just going to watch this questions box here for a second. Yeah, why is saving money important to you? That comes from Mike. Excellent. What will saving money do for you? What is the impact of saving money? So that's how you really dig deeper. Jessica says, how will saving that money impact your future? That's such a good question. Yeah, how will saving that money impact your future? Excellent. So you want to use a digging question that's open-ended using a phrase that they just said. In Mastering Inside Sales, and I know some of you in here have taken that, we spend a long time on this. We spend at least 3 webinars throughout the course of the program on how to ask good quality questions. So if you're like, I don't really know how to do this, that's okay. You just got a little snippet, but just know we'll help you through training your ISA in that Mastering Inside Sales class. Okay. Rick said, wow, what are you going to do with that extra money? Perfect. That's another one. So step one of leading an ISA well is give them some easy wins right out of the gate, just to build that confidence. Remember, success breeds success. We want them to feel good very quickly. Number 2, we want to make sure that they know how to ask for client motivation using the methods that I just gave you. The third thing, you want to make sure that in your team, you have a system for that inside sales agent to transfer that motivation knowledge to the agent. And here's why. Part of why we get motivation is so that if that client tries to cancel, or maybe they're in the process and they're like, man, this market is crazy and I just don't want to do this anymore. Well, if we know their motivation and the agent knows their motivation, we have a really good chance of keeping this person engaged. So where I see a breakdown on a lot of teams is the ISA will get the motivation, but then you ask the agent working with the client, you know, hey, why does John Smith want to move? And they don't have any idea. So you want to make sure that you have a system within your team for how the ISA is going to get the agent the client motivation. And there's really a lot of ways you could do that. Having it in the CRM is one easy way to make sure that that happens. Whatever system you decide, What I would recommend as a leader is you just randomly ask an agent, hey, you know that lead that Rick sent you? What is their motivation? And then go to Rick, hey, what was that client's motivation? And see if it matches. That's one way you can do that. One of the best managers that I've ever had, she was my first sales manager back in 2006. She would randomly stop me in the hallway and say, Anna, and then she'd call a client name. What is their motivation? And it taught me I need to know it like this. So I would recommend as a leader, that's something you do. So number one, give them some easy wins. Number two, teach them how to dig for motivation. Number three, make sure you have a system for the agent and the ISA to both know what that motivation is and spot check it. The fourth tip to leading your ISA really well is to make sure that there is a feedback loop. So there's a lot of you in here that said, I am the ISA or I'm the lead ISA. So you're probably going to really resonate with this. But what a lot of ISAs tell me is one reason I'm thinking about leaving my team is there's no way for me to know what happened to these appointments I set. So I worked really hard. I worked with that client for at least a year, nurturing them, working to get the motivation. I finally got them qualified with a lender. And now I have no idea what happened to that appointment. And the agent's just not updating me. So you want to make sure that to lead this ISA well, that you have some sort of feedback loop for how that agent is going to communicate to the ISA what exactly happened in that appointment. Now, the good news is in the coaching program, which we'll talk about at the end of this webinar today, I do provide a tracker to fix that loop. So if you notice, we don't have a system for that. Or man, I'd have to create a system. I don't currently know how we would do that. In the program, I do provide you an appointment feedback tracker. And actually, I think several of you probably have it. Yeah, one of our ISAs or agents wrote in and said, amen to the feedback loop. Because here's the thing, a talented ISA is going to be results oriented. Well, think about yourself. If you are a results oriented person and then you work hard, you want to know what the result was. So I often will see very talented ISAs leave a team, and it's not that they're not talented or that their team is not talented. It's that there's a breakdown between I set this appointment and then what happened to it. We got to fix that. So that would be the fourth thing. Excuse me, guys, my voice, I've got allergies going on. I can tell my voice is shaky. It's allergies, having a hard time breathing today. Okay, and then the last one is make sure, and actually before I tell you what it is, I actually polled a Facebook group that I have that has 5,200 ISAs in there. And back, I guess it was early February, I just posted a poll and I said, what is most important to you that your leader does for you that would make you stay on the team? So as an ISA, what is the number one thing that matters to you the most that would make you want to stay on a team? Anybody want to guess, by the way, before I can put this in here? So I see a guess of recognition, more money, inspire. Yep. So that's actually what I expected as well. And that was not the most common answer. That was not it. The most common answer that came from that review, or that, the poll that I did, was I want my leader to know what my personal goals are and talk to me about them. And what they went on to say, because I talked with some of these people that answered the poll, was yes, we know numbers matter, yet sometimes it feels like the numbers are all about the team and what I want gets lost in that. And here's the thing, usually a talented ISA will bring you more than what you require of them to stay on the team. So for example, my leader required 5 appointments from me a week, or I just wasn't the right fit for the team. However, my personal goal for my income goals was 10. So we would talk about 10. And what did that mean for me? Fortunately, my team was really good about talking about our motivation. But he understood, and we would talk about, hey, when you hit 10 this week, that's feeding you opening a retreat center for cancer patients. That's going to help you take care of your mom. That's going to help you buy a house. That's going to help you buy a truck. And give back. One of my goals was to give back to my community. And so it wasn't, hey, we need 5 appointments from you this week to hit some bottom line goal because we have this many units we want to close. Yes, that got talked about, but it was really tied back to the personal motivation. Now, what I think is really interesting about this, remember point number 2, help your ISAs know how to get client motivation. And we said part of why that matters is if you know their motivation, you can use that to keep them engaged, meaning the buyer or the seller. But I just thought it was really fascinating when I pulled 5,200 ISAs that the number one most common response I got that they wanted from their leader was a leader who cared about their motivation. That just speaks to human nature, right? Why is your ISA working? What do they want to accomplish? So yes, we know that the team goal is important. Maybe you want to have 200 closings this year or 400 closings this year. But what does your ISA want, right? What do they want? And as a follow-up to that, they talked a lot about, I want my leader to help me mathematically know how to earn the income that I want to earn based off my daily activities. So a lot of ISAs are out there and they'll say things like, I'm just doing the best I can every day and hopefully I'll hit my income goal. But if you ask them, well, how many contacts do you need to hit your income goal? They don't often know. So what they're really looking for you here in point number 5, which is again, care about their personal motivation, kind of like a point under that is make sure that you mathematically know how to help them achieve their income goal based off of their daily activities. And that's going to come from making sure you have a solid tracking system. So let me recap these 5, and then I'll tell you where you can get some of these systems. So number 1, I have them all right here. Number 1, make sure that they get some easy wins early. You want to make sure your ISAs have some easy wins early. Number 2, teach them how to dig for client motivation. Again, we teach that in the class Mastering Inside Sales. We do teach that method. The third thing, make sure that the ISA and the agent both know client motivation and there's a way for them to communicate that easily. The fourth thing to lead ISAs well is make sure you have a feedback loop. So when your ISA sets an appointment, how do they know what happens to it? And then the last and final thing is care about their personal motivation. That's what they want to talk about. Yeah, they want to help your team hit the goal, but they want you to care about them hitting their goal. And that's really the biggest thing that they said they're looking for. Now, I just was mentioning we need to have trackers and we need to know how to provide a feedback loop. And we need to know how many contacts do they need to earn their income goal. So I do just want to make you aware of some resources here real quick. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to share Google Chrome. Hopefully this will work. There you go. What you can type in, if you just type in mapscoachanna.com, it's just a quick link that'll bring you here to all of our ISA MAPS coaching resources. So mapscoachanna.com. And if you come here, oh, we actually have a little box that pops up and it says, check out our next class, how to hire, train, and retain ISAs. In that class, which starts in just 3 weeks, April 8th sounds far away. That is only 3 weeks away. That's pretty crazy. However, in that class, I provide for you all kinds of tracking systems. We also go over what kind of person are you looking for in hiring an ISA. We also talk a lot about how do you know that you're getting return on investment in that position. So it's really a high level leader focused or lead ISA focused class. We also talk about how do you track, what kind of conversion metrics should you be expecting and by when. So is it reasonable to expect an ISA to set 20 appointments a month within their first 3 months or not? Well, we talk about that in that class. And I do give you several tracking systems. So about, I would say out of the 5 hours total, it's a 5-week class, 1 hour a week, about an hour and a half is spent on hiring, how to identify talent, where do you find them, what does your job ad look like to find this person? And then the rest of the time, the other 3.5 hours, we really talk about leadership, how do you keep them on the team and provide a really excellent culture. So again, just go to mapscoachanna.com. That'll bring you here to our ISA coaching website, and you'll see how to hire and keep ISAs right here, and a little box pops up. Now, real quick, if you go here to Mastering Inside Sales, we didn't really talk about that class today, but this is actually the class for the inside sales agent. The reality is we have a lot of agents in this class. I have a lot of people say I'm an individual agent or I'm an agent on a team, and I got tons out of this class. This class is really a lead generation language class, as well as systems. So we go over the economic model. I give out 4 different trackers, so numbers tracking, paper tracking, appointment tracking, all kinds of things. And that's in partnership with MAPS. So the Rainmaker class starts April 8th. The Mastering Inside Sales starts on May the 12th, which is actually really good timing, because say that you hire your ISA as a result of that first class, then you can have them start in that May 12th class and we will help you train them. Okay, so what questions do you guys have? I'll stay on another 5 minutes to see what questions you have, and then we'll go ahead and close out. Okay, so Rick said, how do you know if you are ready to hire your first ISA? That is a loaded question. I'll just give you the overall picture. And Rick, I know you were in that how to hire and train class. Generally speaking, you need a good 2 to 3 agent ratio for one ISA. So for example, when I started at the Haro Group, we had 2 agents. Well, because I was working and I was producing so many appointments, they needed to hire more, because what happened, we didn't have enough spots for me to put people. So I would have a lead on the phone and it would be, yeah, great, let's get you on the calendar. And then I would pull up the calendar and it legitimately was, I did not know where to put them. Our agents had too much going on. So I find that you definitely need at least 2 agents on your team, ideally 3. And that would really be the solid ratio. Now there's other things, right? Do you have some money set aside to hire this person? Do you have enough leads to hire this person? But kind of big picture, 2 to 3 agents is usually right. And then in that class, the hiring class, we do spend a good bit of time talking about that. Milton said, does this apply to virtual ISA as well? If you could tell me which thing you're talking about when you say, does this apply? If you mean the class, yes. If you mean something else, just let me know specifically what that is. But the class, Mastering Inside Sales, the May 12th one, that really is for anyone that talks with humans with the goal of creating a lead. That's what that's for, or converting a lead. Good. Rick says, I'll be in your April 8th class. Awesome. I feel like I see you all the time, which is great. Rick has also been in Mastering Inside Sales, which is really great. Oh, yes. Milton meant the class. Yes. Yes. So the one thing that might be different, just to be transparent with you, is a lot of ISAs are base pay plus commission, and they are licensed. So if you have a virtual ISA, I know many times they're not licensed. So there will just be some things that you'll filter through. However, overwhelmingly, they'll use the content in the class. Just know for your state, what can an unlicensed virtual assistant do in your state? And that's going to vary from state to state. But yeah, the class absolutely teaches how do you talk to people, how do you get motivation, how do you overcome objections, how do you set an appointment that actually shows up. And let me define this again real quick. So the class I'm talking about right now is Mastering Inside Sales, and that's the one a virtual ISA could take. This one, how to hire and keep ISAs, that would really be more for the leader. Or if you're an ISA just wondering more about the business of real estate and the business of the inside sales department, you could take that class. I wouldn't put a virtual ISA in that class unless you had plans for them to grow a department within your business. Okay. How do you prevent burnout from working leads that come in during the evening and weekends if you only have one ISA? So you just have to decide. I know on our team, when I took the position, I was a caretaker for my mom. She had cancer. And so I just told my leader, I said, I will work incredibly hard from 8 to 5:30. But when I leave at 5:30, it's important that I unplug because I have this other huge responsibility in the evening. And we just mutually agreed. And we knew if I was bringing him 1 to 2 appointments a day, I would generate so much income that while it was difficult to miss leads in the evening, I mean, we were losing money, that me personally as an ISA, I still was providing great return on my position. So Shelly, what we did eventually, once we hired some more agents, is we took turns. So at one point we had 7 agents and 1 to 2 ISAs, and we would just take turns. So each night, someone is taking home the responsibility of getting leads in the evening or an on-call weekend, but it wasn't just the ISA, it was agents as well. But I do want to say just real quick, going back to what I was saying about my situation, Haro knew, and this is what we teach you in the class, how do you know that you're getting enough return on that hire, right? You're investing money in this person. They're kind of like a lead source. It's kind of like investing in a lead source. How do you know you're getting your money back? And again, we knew, yep, our team, unfortunately, we're not getting all the evening and weekends because we don't have a ton of people on this team yet, and we can't work 24/7. And so again, Haro just knew, if you bring me 1 to 2 appointments a day, at least 5 a week, and they convert at normal levels, we'll have great return on your hire. And so we just kind of said, ooh, it kills us to lose leads sometimes in the evening and weekends, but we don't have enough people yet. And then once we did, we divided that out. And then Rick said, is an ISA salary or hourly? It's going to depend on how you hire them. And I would talk to a local HR or just find out from your local state. Yeah, the HR laws are different in all kinds of places. So you just got to check with your area. Are they part-time? Are they full-time? Are they an employee? Are they a contractor? So you just really got to check with your local powers that be. Okay, looks like we are out of time. So just one last time, go to mapscoachanna.com and you'll see this right here. Our How to Hire and Keep ISAs class right here that starts in just 3 weeks. It sounds far away, but it is only 3 weeks away. And then Mastering Inside Sales May 12th. So not too far. All right, everybody. Well, it was great being with you today. Thanks for joining me on this little webinar here. And you are very welcome. A lot of you are typing in thank you. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for joining me today. See you hopefully in class. See you soon.